This week, I want to talk about the billionaire tax that will affect about 700 billionaires. Now, this bill has become very controversial with many Republicans and a few Democrats. I don't understand why, because it's not hurting the middle class, it's hurting the 1%, which I don't get why. They have a few criticisms, and I think the best way to show all their criticisms is summed up in the Mitt Romney and Fox News interview he had. And there's a lot of flaws in these criticisms. And I think this is the best representation to show you their flaws.
Structure. It is a proposal to go after unrealized capital gains. Some people are calling it a wealth tax on about 700 billionaires. Why, in your opinion, does this not work?
Well, first of all, it's not a good idea to tell billionaires, don't come to America, don't start your business here, to tell the Steve Jobs and the Bill Gates and people like that, this isn't the place to begin your business, go somewhere else. That's a bad idea.
His first criticism is we shouldn't be telling billionaires not to come to America. Well, where are they going to go? Are they going to move to communist China and live under that authoritarian rule? Or are they going to move across the sea to Europe where they have a higher income tax than we do? Or, better yet, will they move north towards Canada? No, because they have an even higher income tax than Europe. America is the best place to accumulate wealth. Isn't that right, Kiwi? America is the best place to accumulate wealth. And he also said that they won't invest in companies or create companies. Well, he brought up Bill Gates. Bill Gates created Microsoft. We all know that. And I'm happy he brought him up because Bill Gates created his company in the 70s at the point where they were being taxed at 70%. Now I have both my kiddies because they're really interested in this. How did they, or why would someone create a company when they were being taxed at 70%, which is almost double what we pay now? Well, it's because you could accumulate more wealth, and it was better for the stock market. I want to take a little step back and go through our tax brackets of the United States, and my first place is from 1942 to 1979. We tax people a whopping 70% or higher, the highest being between 1944 and 1962 at a whopping 91%. 91%. That is ludicrous, is it not? I think so. I think my cats think so too. But yet, we did that anyways. And from the graph I can pull up, our manufacturing jobs grew. Wages grew. I can only speculate why this happened and why we saw a downturn from the 1980s to now from the graph. And that's because CEOs, owners reinvested their money back into their companies and back into their workers rather than wanting to be taxed on it by the government, which overall helped the middle class. It would have helped me, it would have helped you. Now, in the turn of the 1980s, they saw we can get a little bit more money in our pockets now since the government isn't taxing us so high. So that's what they did. And instead of reinvesting back into manufacturing companies, they looked at where can we go to get the best buck so I can make the most and line my own pockets. They didn't care about keeping the American economy strong. Instead, they cared about how wealthy can I get.
But number two, you're going to tax people not when they sell something, but just when they own it and the value goes up. And what that means is that people are, these multi-billionaires, are going to look and say, I don't want to invest in the stock market because as that goes up, I'm going to get taxed. So maybe I will instead invest in a ranch or in paintings or things that don't build jobs and create a stronger economy. That kind of distortion of our economic system is a bad idea for the entire country because, frankly, we depend upon people of means to invest in enterprises, to invest in the stock market. That's one of the reasons the stock market keeps going up, which is good for all of us. The idea that somehow there's somebody out there that's going to give us stuff for free, it's just not going to work.
The second criticism is they won't invest in the market. Okay, so what if they don't? The market is not a good barometer to see how well the country is doing. We should be basing it off of how many people are working, Our wages going up? Is inflation okay? Now, I want to take you to 2020, 1 year ago. During the height of the pandemic, we saw the stock market crash. We saw mass unemployment. Tens of millions of Americans lost their jobs. With the graph I'm pulled up here, the S&P 500 did tank, like I just said, but it came back higher and better than ever. Well, how is that possible? Because we still had mass unemployment, people not being able to pay their rent, pay their mortgages, and yet the stock market grew. That doesn't benefit me or you. It benefits the 1% when it goes up. Because me and you aren't invested that heavily in the stock market, unlike they are. And to end it all, no one is asking them to give it up for free. But to the biggest criticizers, like Elon Musk of the world, he wasn't born here. He was born in South Africa. And this country gave him the greatest opportunity in the world to make him a billionaire. And I think it's their patriotic duty to pay back for using our road systems, for using our infrastructures across this country. It's their patriotic duty to pay what they are supposed to pay. And for anyone that says not, give me a real criticism of why not. Because they aren't going to leave. And if we tax them higher, they're not going to put it in their own pockets. They're going to put it back into their companies. It's time to not be scared of having the 1% leave this country. What we should be really worried about is the 99% trying to still survive after this pandemic. And that's what I have for this week. I hope to see you another time.